Hey guys, my name is Mooshroom Xpert and welcome to my How to Make Better series. We will be entering the last episodes of 26 through 30. Introducing the finale of Season 1. Episode 26. Rogue Duality. We are back at the base as Troy feels a weird sense of dark energy. Tensou was doing research with Noah as they finish getting data on Metal Alice and begin on a Vinster. Troy tells Noah that he is going out for a run. In the forest, we see a Warstar creature with two curved blades walk around. Emma is taking pictures of the new plants while the mysterious attacker rushes to her and slashes her. Emma tries to call Tensou but passes out. Tensou tells Noah she tried to call but no word as he tells Noah where she was. Noah goes to her and sees her with a slash mark, then brought her back to the command center. Two new bullies in the school, Roy and Barry, go after Howie, the little boy, and confront Creepox. The two bullies cower from Creepox. Howie stands up to Creepox. Yellow and Black Rangers save Howie and they told Creepox, "Where did you come from?" As Creepox speaks, die as he charges with rage. They fight Creepox and drag him into a warehouse. Gia tells Jake that he is just attacking in rage as Jake says, "Then we fight fire with fire," as they charge at him. Gia gets hurt and blown back as Jake gets a boost of rage and uses his snake power against Creepox but gets blasted back to Gia, as Creepox says red, range. At the base again, Emma tells the team that Creepox attacked her while Noah saying Creepox? As Emma nods, he is on a rogue rampage destroying everything in his path. As Tensou shows all the meteors heading to Earth, Noah tells Tensou to watch over her while he goes to look for Creepox. On a road, we see Troy running as he stops suddenly as he hears something in the grass of the forest, then wanders around. He finds Creepox and tells him, "No way, we destroyed you," while Creepox speaks, "In your dreams, young child." Creepox tells them that I survived with the power of my rage that I was born with since I was young, that healed him but gave him a spike of anger. Noah shows up and tells Troy be careful, he has a boost of rage. Creepox says, "You should listen to your friend Red and lay your head down so I can slice it off." Troy and Noah both morph as Troy tells Creepox, "You will be the one down for the count." Creepox fights with the two Rangers as they trade blows as Creepox says, "I will not fail," as Noah said, "You failed when you came back to get us," while Creepox charges at Noah and takes down Noah. Creepox then keeps fighting Troy as he slashes and sends Troy down. Creepox throws an attack at Troy but Noah rushes in to take the blow. Noah and Troy fall down a cliff and demorph. Noah is weakened and can't morph back. Troy says he will exploit his anger and use it against him. Noah says he wishes he could help. Creepox arrives to them and demands to be fought. Troy morphs once again and fights Creepox. As they both trade blows as they run around fighting, matching each other at times, Emma with Jake and Gia appear and help Noah up as they watch as Troy dodges Creepox's blast and takes the lower ground. Troy shots his Mega Blaster to no hits and flies but gets launched back. Creepox gets down as they attack each other again as Creepox catches a kick then throws Troy to the floor as Creepox throws his Meteor Blast at Troy as he gets a hit on him. Troy demorphs once again after getting hit as Creepox goes to strike Troy but Troy has the Dragon Sword near him so he can defend himself. Creepox is over on top of Troy and his Dragon Sword. He tells him, "I will slice your head off and enjoy every second." Troy says back, "My nightmares will not be my reality," as he pulls him off while he spins in the air and morphs as begin to fight him once again. Vrak appears in his Cetera form and sees the two but they don't notice him, of course. Troy hits Creepox then soars across as the two lock on each other as they both get ready. The two slash each other as a moment of silence while Creepox goes down. He looks at Troy and laughs as he tells him, "That was a lot of fun, I haven't felt that alive in years," as his body explodes. Above them, Vrak, who calls Creepox a fool for returning as he calls for his Zombats to make Creepox grow. The four morph and call Goseiger Great Megazord. The Megazord goes down and Troy tells them they have to use all their headers. Out of a card in the sky comes out the Sea Brothers, Sky Brothers, and Land Brothers. All 9 headers with Datable combine with Goseiger Great Megazord with to make the Ultra Goseiger Great Megazord. Creepox sends a big spinning attacks towards the Rangers and they counter and destroy Creepox. The teens recap as they walk in a park. Jake celebrates by dancing. They enter and Ernie's brain freeze and Bully Roy stops them and helps Howie's bug, since the three are now friends. Troy wonders what is next. Jake tells him to relax and enjoy the win as Robo Knight is at the library reading on human emotions and thoughts. Episode 27. Aluminum Carnage. At the command center, Goseiger tells Tensou that he gave the Rangers the day off since they deserved. Noah and Robo Knight play chess while the other Rangers play in the water. Robo Knight wins the chess game without barely looking as Noah gets irritated. Jake tries to teach Robo Knight about high fives. Robo Knight's high five is too strong for Jake as food falls on his face as Noah says, "Now that's funny." At the sea base, Vrak installs his new upgrades on her as Vrak tells her, "Now you will be twice as powerful." Vrak tells her that he wants to plant a bomb on the train tracks without destroying the power plants as he needs them to energize his last few plans. Metal Alice goes to examine the train station as she checks each one. A boy talks to his mother, who is currently on the train. Metal Alice makes her way to the control room. She attacks the human and slices the control panel. The train stops on the tracks. Back at the underwater base, Metal Alice reports her success. Tensou summons the Rangers. The Rangers morph into action. At the train station, the announcement informs the citizens about the train. The young boy eagerly waits for his mother. Robo Knight and the Rangers find Metal Alice. The Rangers surround Metal Alice, but she takes the advantage to blast the Rangers to the ground. The Rangers continue to fight Metal Alice. Robo Knight blocks her blade and they engage in a quick melee fight. Metal Alice regains her weapon and reveals her plot before retreating. The Rangers monitor the various locations as the young boy meets Robo Knight. Robo Knight learns about the boy's mother and the emotion to miss someone. The train starts to move again. Troy finds Metal Alice after she placed the bomb. She sends Loogies to slow down the Troy. Metal Alice gives Robo Knight another chance while the Rangers fight the Loogies. The Rangers power up to Ultra mode. The bomb countdown continues as the Ultra Megaforce Rangers thin out the swarm of Loogies. Robo Knight arrives to the scene. Metal Alice summons her weapon and attacks Robo Knight. The two warriors fight on the tracks. The Rangers run in front of Robo Knight to protect him from Metal Alice's attacks. Metal Alice is too strong for the Rangers. Robo Knight and Metal Alice are back to their fight. Robo Knight defeats Metal Alice, who recovers after Robo Knight leaves. With less than 10 seconds left, the Ultra Rangers race to the scene. The bomb destroys the tracks. The Rangers power down to their Ranger form. The Rangers try to stand up from the recent blast. Goseiger awards the Rangers their new card from the past, Goseiger Wonder. Robo Knight transforms into Lion Zord. The Rangers summon their Goseiger Jet Zords to form a bridge. The train successfully travels above the Zords. Metal Alice summons the Zombolts to make herself grow. The Rangers form the Goseiger Jet Megazord that the original Rangers used. Robo Knight transforms into the Goseiger Grand Megazord. Metal Alice sends a strong blast towards the Megazords. After a few quick attacks, the Rangers defeat Metal Alice with the Goseiger Jet Megazord's finishing attack. Back at the sea base, Metal Alice is restored back in the base. Vrak looks at Alice saying, "One more chance, if not it's over for you," as Metal Alice nods as Vrak turns to Evinster. "Now it's to plan our final attack on the Earth." The boy is reunited with his mother. Robo Knight watches the scene and waves to his new friend. As Noah tells Robo Knight he still has a lot to learn about humans. Jake tells Robo Knight that he can fire any questions. Robo Knight takes it literally and draws his blaster. The team laughs as Robo Knight tells them that he learned a new song for them. Episode 28, Lethal Operation Part 1. At the Toxic Cave, Vrak is talking to Biggs in his Landira form while Biggs tells him that he is a Tridira, a warstar who possess all the powers of the three alliances but sees his having toxic poisons fused in his as Vrak asks if Mocker is one as Biggs says yes. Biggs says you have the power to turn into a Tridira as Vrak says of course my lord. At the sea base, Vrak shows Evinster and Metal Alice of his final plans as he told Alice to stay put until his call as he brings Evinster as he put a overheat bomb on Alice if she overpowered her system, programming her systems will self-destruction. On Earth, Vrak reaches a hilltop with Evinster as he tells Evinster we will render their connection to the morphing grid useless. At the command center, Tensou tells the Rangers that Vrak and Evinster are on the hills as Troy says let's do this guys, but Tensou stops them as he played a radio message that is all crackly. It is almost time for the invasion as Goseiger tells the Rangers be careful as they rush to the scene morphed already. Vrak tells them welcome Rangers. Evinster tells Vrak go my master I will watch as Vrak goes and attacks the Rangers and SETI reform as they trade attacks back and forth as the Rangers put their morphers in their Ultra Swords then their Ultra Goseiger dynamic cards in their morphers and blast Vrak with their Ultra Goseiger dynamic blast. As the first blast doesn't leave a mark on him as Troy says let's do it again, they charge their blast again as they fire with Robo Knight. Vrak fires a blast back that is stronger than theirs as it knocks their Ultra mode as their morphers turn to rust. As Vrak tells Evinster to attack now as his systems regroup, the Rangers watch as they attack Vrak's machine as Evinster says the invasion will happen whether you like it or not as he kept attacking them, as he charge a beam while Robo Knight looks at his morpher as the Rangers get hit while Evinster looks at them as he charges again as Robo Knight uses his morpher to fire a Trilar element blast as the weather changes as it beams to rain as Robo Knight says I will not let my team down. Evinster says just like your other team as Robo Knight gets a spike of anger and uses all of his power to damage Evinster while Robo Knight falls down while the Rangers catch him while he tells the Rangers it's your move now as he gives Troy his blaster but Noah says their morphers are still rusted while Robo Knight uses his last of his energy and used it to remove the rust of their morphers as he falls to his knee. Troy tells him we will be back as they go to fight Evinster, as Vrak Force changes Robo Knight to his Zord header and takes him to his base as he watches Evinster from his base. With their powers restored, they morph then charge to attack Evinster as they fight him hitting him as a team showing him the power of a team. The Rangers try to hit him with a Ultra Goseiger Dynamic Blast but it doesn't have enough power as they use the Ultra Goseiger Dynamic Blast with Robo Knight's gun to combine their powers and manage to defeat the Evinster, but Vrak comes down and before he explodes. He tells Vrak the Armada will rule all as Vrak says not going to happen over my dead body launches his head in the air and blasts him. Episode 29. Lethal Operation Part 2. Back to Hill, as Vrak looks at the Rangers then says time to take out the trash. Metal Alice comes in and pushes him aside as she spoke no my master I will not let you fall to these humans, we are a team as she rushes to the Rangers. Metal Alice fights against the Rangers as they follow each attacks, the Rangers overpower her as her system overheats and begins to self-destruction. After looking to a partially active Metal Alice and destroying her mercilessly, as Vrak looks at the Rangers that they will meet again as takes his leave. Troy watches as he was in shock he is a monster. Back at the base, Jake says our last battle as Emma says yeah but remember Vrak has the powers of our elements. As Noah says that Vrak will stop at nothing so we must be on top of our game as Gia yeah but I hope Troy is ready he was really shocked. Troy looks at Robo Knight's key as it starts glowing as he speaks Vrak is going down for Robo Knight and the Earth. At the War Starship, as Mocker is in his cocoon Vrak appears in his Skydera form then slashes down his cannon destroying him and his ship. Vrak travels to Toxic Cave to see Biggs in his Landira. Ash looks at him as Biggs tells him good work now you must fuse all your powers into one as Vrak says yes but not after I do something and he slashes Biggs from behind killing him as Vrak returns to his sea base as he sets up all three element spikes using the powers of Mocker for the sky, Biggs for the land, Evinster for the sea. As Vrak watches the spike set he changes to his new form of Tridira as he feels Robo Knight behind his Robo Knight you will not win this one carve. Vrak says I haven't heard that name in decades as he laughs Robo Knight says you betrayed Goseiger and the Earth as Vrak says Goseiger yes, the Earth no. I want to wipe out all humans and bring the Earth to its Hadean time where all resources are raw and able to make Earth a planet as a trading planet for the Armada as Robo Knight said never as Hetris to attack him but Vrak counters then blast him and raises him to put him in chains, you will be a sparing gift if I fail. We return to the base, as Tensou zooms as he shows all of them the three spikes in the planet as he tells them Vrak set them up to drill into the Earth. As Emma looks as she says all hitting the Earth's elements, Jake says land, sea, and the sky. Gia says he must drilling to the core as Noah says how does he have this power while Troy says the original Rangers as Jake says hut, Troy says that Vrak has to be their leader. As Goseiger says carve how did I not notice it, while Gia says carve? While Goseiger says Carve was Megaforce Violet as Troy says the Forbidden Movie took his team's powers as Jake says which is why he can change into 3 different forms depending on the alliance as Emma says that's why the toxic beasts were released because he let them out as Noah says after that's why Tensou couldn't find any Warstar Enegri in him because he has human blood but why does he want the Earth as Tensou says that Vrak is back, before they could discuss it as they rush to the scene. The Rangers find Vrak as he sends out countless waves of Loogies to hold them back. But the Loogies are quickly defeated by the Sky Cannon and the Land Sea Cannon. They reach him and assume their Ultra modes to fight him directly. The Rangers use Ultra mode to perform the Dynamic Strike finisher, but Vrak neutralizes the blast with one hand, stating that his power is better than Goseig's. He then blasts the Rangers and knocks them out of Ultra Mode, stating that Earth has a 0% chance of surviving. The Rangers watch with Vrak as solar eclipse starts. Episode 30. Lethal Operation Part 3. The Rangers use the Megaforce blaster while Vrak unleashes his dark powers. The Rangers' attack prevails, but Vrak survives. Troy fights Vrak while the other Rangers state that they will never give up, but Vrak laughs at them, saying that the only way to stop the drills is to defeat him, and according to Vrak, they are powerless. Hearing that, Troy then gets an idea to combine his powers with the other Rangers in order to perform his Sky Strike attack, and Gosei explains to Troy that combining his attack with the power of the eclipse will increase his attack power to its maximum level. Avenging both the Earth and Robo Knight, Troy performs the Infinite Sky Strike finisher, which ultimately kills Vrak once and for all. Troy is relieved to see Vrak dead. The Rangers celebrate as the drills disappear. The Armada begins its invasion. The Rangers run to the city as they get fired with blasts from the Armada ships. On the ground, waves of Xborgs invade Ernie's brain freeze and Ernie tries to hide. Emma defeats the Xborgs, and tells Ernie to get someplace safe. More Xborgs are at the school and Noah beats them down and tells the students to find everyone else and help out. As they defeat the Xborgs while they find Hedridge, who tells the Rangers, bow down for the Armada, as they say never and fight them off, but get overpowered as Hedridge uses his energy to hit them with an attack as Jake tries to use his strength to block them as he rushes to block the attack and absorbs the blast as he demorphs and falls to his knees. Before he falls, Noah catches him as Gia rushes to him as she looks at her body while Jake says to "You guys got this," as he looked at Gia as he says "I love," the passes out in their arms. Troy says let's go, we need to reach Gosei. Emma says but what about Jake, we need to get him to Gosei quickly, let's go guys before we all end up like him, as they carry Jake back to the command center while dodging blaster fire. That is it for Season 1 of Megaforce. Thank you for listening and seeing the way I would tell Season 1. Next up will be how I will introduce Season 2. Special thank you to my Patreon members. Check out my Patreon account to get exclusive videos. Also check out our merch store to support our channel. Please like, comment, subscribe. My name is Mooshroom Xpert. May the power protect you all.